Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome, everyone, to The Next Level, Conversations that Propel Business. I'm your host, Stephen Nooner.
And I'm the other host, the better host, Bob Gibbons. Any argument?
We'll let you have this one.
Be the only time I'll get it. Old guys got to take it when we can get it. Hey, our guest today is Aaron Hunsicker. He's the owner and CEO of LUXE Beauty LLC. And LUXE Beauty has two very high-end hair salons in the Dallas area. Actually, both are in Frisco. And they've been around since about 2012. And you can find out more about them at Modern Luxe, and that's Luxe with an E, L-U-X-E, Stephen, modernluxesalon.com. But it's not enough just to have the salon. They also have another business where they are a distributor of hair extensions, and that's available at pureplatinumusa.com. Welcome, Aaron.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, we like to start off the show with, someone else's wisdom, especially after, nice, smooth intros like that from Bob. And our quote for today came from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Shallow men believe in luck. Strong men believe in cause and effect.
Why did you bring that quote?
I don't know. I just thought it sounded good. No, we have a saying all the time in our company. We say that we pray like it depends all on God and work like it depends all on us. And in that intersection, that's where the blessing is. And sometimes I think a lot of people attribute success in any area of life, getting healthy or success in entrepreneurship or whatever, that they just got lucky. And some of that luck might be true, but some of it was also, I think, made. And so I just like the quote. Well,
it seems that kind of goes along with another quote that I'm going to totally butcher, which is something about, luck is for those that are prepared, or luck comes to those that are prepared, or something like that. But it's amazing because we always judge people based on what we see on the surface. And so we assume, oh, he got lucky. And yet if we're successful, we want people to assume we really worked hard.
Sure.
We don't judge people the way we want to be judged.
What do you think, Aaron? Have any thoughts? We're getting pretty deep here.
Yeah, you guys are going deep right off the bat, so thank you for that. No, look, I think oftentimes, people mistake hard work for luck, right? So, and oftentimes it's easier for them to attribute, oh, well, they just got lucky.
Yep.
And they don't want to recognize the hard work that went into it and the years that they went through, the struggle and all the different things they tried and failed and kept trying and kept trying. And then when it finally hits, because they kept going, oh, they got lucky.
And I wonder how many times that's because it's an excuse. We want to assume somebody else got lucky. That way I don't have to go through the hard work that they went through to achieve the same thing because I'm too lazy.
Yeah, and I think so too. And I think part of it, is maybe not necessarily that they're lazy, but maybe that they're scared, or maybe that maybe they've tried something and it didn't work, and they were like, man, this will never work. But it's easier to say, oh, well, that person got lucky,
right.
So, but no, I think it's a great way, to frame that concept of, look, if you work hard, if you stay at it, if you have strategy, if you, network and partner with the right people, you can achieve, amazing things and things that you never thought you could. And it has nothing to do with luck.
Yeah. Well, you guys have really been successful. But before we get to that, I want to talk about something that a lot of people may not know about you, and that is that you were in a band called the Stray Toasters?
I was in a band called the Stray Toasters, yes. So.
I actually went online to find them.
I did too.
Yeah. And did you?
I did.
All right.
I actually found them, although I did not find a picture of you in it.
No. It's been, let's see, about 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay. And they're still around, though, right?
They're still around. They were actually around before I joined them, and when I was in my early 20s. I worked with the guy. His name was Scott, and he started the band. Great guy, amazing musician, great lyricist. Really enjoyed working with him, and so we actually worked together. And he was a bartender at a restaurant, and I worked there waiting tables, and we just got to talking. I was actually in school for music. I was studying classical guitar, and we just got to talking. He said, "Oh, I have a band," and I went, "Yeah, okay, I've heard this routine before," kind of a thing. And so we just got together and started playing, and he played me some of the stuff that he had written. And honestly, I'd never really thought I'd ever be in a band or that kind of thing. It was,
And the genre?
it was rock, indie rock,
Okay.
alternative. So it's always difficult to kind of, someone's like, "Oh, describe your style." I'm like, I don't know. We were, it was rock, it was pop,
There's also a comic book series by the same name, Stray Toasters.
Yeah, so actually that was the inspiration for the band name.
Oh, okay.
So they were the original guys that started the band were big comic book guys. I'm not. I'd never really heard of them, but that's where they got it from. Was from that comic book series, which is kind of a dark, kind of foreboding comic series, which doesn't match with the music that we wrote, but that's what they like. So
Prediction: maybe they'll be the 10 or 20-year overnight success story.
Yeah, exactly.
And they get sued by the comic strip to have to change their
yeah, exactly.
True
yeah.
story. I have a friend that happened to
Really?
by Warner Brothers, but that's for another show.
Well,
Right.
it was kind of, it's kind of a fun thing, just kind of going along with, we saw bands come up as well that, worked really hard. And, these guys, you do a lot of gigs and you do a lot of terrible gigs. And eventually you could get seen. And that's kind of the point of just stay out there, keep doing what you're doing. Now, we never got to that point, but they're still going. And, they keep releasing albums. And, hey, I wish for the best. I hope they make it. So
tell us a little bit about your company and where the idea came from, because from what I can tell, it sounds like you guys are really trying to take some disruption to a space where maybe some's needed.
Yeah, really this idea for the salon really came actually from my wife. So my wife was really the brainchild behind it. She's been in the industry since we dated. When we first started dating, she was finishing cosmetology school. And so she went through the whole process of learning the industry, going through her apprenticeship and, really honing her craft. And it is one of those things that, when you come out of school, it's just like anything. You don't know anything. And you got to get out there and you got to apprentice. And she was lucky enough to work with some very high-end salons in the Chicago area. And they really helped, hone her craft. So she really learned how to be an excellent stylist and love the industry. And
Tough industry.
it's a tough industry. It's very competitive, but it's also very rewarding as well. So it gives a lot of flexibility to people, allows them to be creative. You can make a very good living doing it. And it was just something, we'd always talked about, potentially having her own salon. Unfortunately for her, I moved around the country quite a bit for my career at the time. And so she kept having to rebuild her book and rebuild her book and rebuild her book. And finally, by the time we got to Dallas, she said, "That's it. We're not moving again. I like Dallas. We're not leaving again. Let's put down some
Smart
roots."
woman.
She's a very smart woman. Yeah, absolutely. And so, we really just started thinking about if we wanted to have a salon, what kind of salon we want to have. And so that's really where the idea for this concept came about.
So what is it that you wanted different that wasn't available that caused you to go out and say, hey, we need to start one versus just go rent a space at one of your competitors?
Yeah, so realistically what had happened was she had worked in a traditional style salon where realistically as a stylist, you have a few options. You can either get paid a straight hourly rate, you can earn a salary rate, and most of them will do like a commission split. So the volume that you do, you split it with the salon. And she had done that model for basically her entire career. And several years, about 5 years ago, she saw an opportunity where, and it's been around in the industry for a long time, where you can rent a suite or you can rent a location, but they're isolated, right? So each room is individual. And she never really liked that concept. She liked the idea of being around others and being able to grow together in that team environment where great hairstylists can share, ideas, and they can really, it's that iron sharpens iron kind of concept.
Yeah.
So she was never interested in going that route, but she was always attracted to the individual being an entrepreneur, having your own business side of things. And about 5 years ago, she found a salon that essentially did that same thing, but they had an open floor concept where they could lease the individual chair. She could still work with others, still have that professional relationship, but that she could essentially have more control of her schedule, her time, her money, and really become an entrepreneur behind the chair. And that's really where the idea was born. And I give them a lot of credit for having a salon that offered her to do that. And it was literally overnight. It changed her future, really, because it gave her control of time. It gave her control of her schedule, allowed her to really take the reins of her professional career.
Now, full disclosure, Modern Lux is a client of mine, so want the listeners to know that. But, I know that you guys are different than other salons, even the open salons that are high-end, that you lease individual chairs, but you guys are different as well in the way you help drive business to your stylist. So tell us about that.
Well, that was really, so the way we saw it was, look, we felt there was more stylists that were like Tara. That we just felt like, look, there's more people that are looking for this kind of thing. It's not out there yet. It doesn't exist yet. So it was really kind of a combination of, well, we can offer that space. We can do it in a really great way. We can make it affordable for them to do this. But the evolution that really kind of became a game changer is we decided, look, in typical situations where an independent stylist goes in a location, they are truly independent. They are on their own. Everything is up to them. Marketing, promotions, communication with clients, all that's on their own. And we felt, look, we can do that better. We can help them do that. We have some knowledge on how to do those kind of things, and we can help drive traffic to them. So basically being able to take someone who has always been in an employee situation and actually teach them how to be an entrepreneur, teach them how to market themselves, teach them how to grow their own business and what that actually means. Because it's intimidating if you've never done it before, and if you never had any dreams of doing it, but you saw someone else do it and you thought, hey, how can I do that? And so what we really wanted to do was create an environment where we could do that. And really, the best part of it is we actually share in the experience of other stylists, because there's a lot of stylists that come to us that have phenomenal ideas of how to market themselves, how to position themselves, how to use things like Yelp, and how to use things like Facebook, Instagram, and all these different social media things that we're able to take and then run with them, and actually it's kind of, there's a multiplier effect when it comes to marketing. The more people that are doing that, the more people that are contributing to, social media, hashtagging, all that kind of stuff. So even one single individual, but if you have a whole salon and they're all doing that, there's a multiplier effect when it comes to marketing. So, and that's really been, one of the strong keys to just helping anybody that comes to our company be successful.
Well, and what seemed really brilliant to me about it is just also that it's the fear, right? To me, I would think that if you're a long-term employed type of hairstylist, that's your probably number one fear if you want to take that entrepreneurial step, is that I don't know if I'm going to starve or not.
Oh, yeah.
No,
absolutely. I mean, I can say when Tara did it, I mean, we were scared. I mean, she was scared. We were nervous about leaving that, the comfort of the nest, so to speak, and going out on your own. It was definitely nerve-wracking. And, and I'm a numbers geek. I try to run all the numbers and try to look at every scenario and go, oh, okay, well, if you do this and if you do that. And, when she first made the jump, she gave some pretty deep discounts because she wanted to make sure that, her clients were going to follow her and stuff. And of course, she's so talented, they were going to do it anyways, and, but, of course she gave them the incentive financially to come over, and, there's different things like that. But yeah, it is nerve wracking, but it's just one of those things where it's like, when one person does it, they show that it can be done, and, our thing was, how do we take that and make it duplicatable, and so that's really what we enjoy doing. It's wonderful being able to work around these other entrepreneurial minded people.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to go to a break. But before we do, how do you decouple emotion from criticism of your business to get the best result? Stick around. We're going to learn from Aaron's experience.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand. And landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them, so let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's texastenantrep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of LUXE. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
Hi, I'm Mitch Felderhoff, owner and president of Munster Milling Company, and I'm here to take my business to the next level with Bob and...
Welcome back to the next level, conversations that propel business. We're here with our guest, almost said our host.
I've already been replaced. He was just saying how good you were during the break.
Yeah, with that voice, he probably would bump us off pretty fast. But anyway, Aaron Hunsicker with LUXE Beauty LLC. You can find out more about them at modernluxesalon.com.
With an E.
Thank you. And pureplatinumusa.com, also with an E. Welcome back.
That was really confusing, but welcome back.
All right, then take us somewhere interesting.
Yeah, well, so one of the things that I just am wrapping my mind around your business that's unique. So your ideal client or customer is actually the stylist. It's not people coming into the stylist, which it sounds like you help them find those people. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our first customer is the stylist, and that's how we view the concept, and that's the way that it was born. Was that how do we give the stylist the best possible outcome, and how do we give them the best chance to succeed and grow their own business? So everything we do, we look at it through that prism and how it affects the stylist and what we do. Obviously, our secondary customer from that is their client, right? Sure. So we want their client to have an amazing experience and love coming there and love being there with their stylist. So that customer experience strengthens our primary customer experience.
Do you ever run into, do you have a vetting process, and do you ever run into a situation where you have a dissatisfied client with a personnel issue? How do you deal with that? They're entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It could affect your brand.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's absolutely tricky. So one of the things is when a stylist is interested in coming to our salon, they do go through an interview process, much like you would hire anybody. Mm-hmm. And that's really just a way to get to know them, but also to lay out what we do and what is our vision for this company, and do they align with that? Mm-hmm. There are stylists that we have turned down. We have said, this is not a good fit. And it blew them away because they went, well, I'm leasing a chair. And we said, well, yeah, but it's not just about that. You have to understand the bigger picture. You have to understand the bigger concept, because what that individual does behind their chair affects all the other businesses around them, right? So if you have people coming in wearing flip-flops and sweatpants, well, that's not going to look good when you have someone that's, dressed to the nines, hair's done, makeup's done. They're, a true entrepreneur and driving their business. And so, yeah, it does become tricky from that standpoint. So our thing is, look, we try to find like-minded individuals. We try to find stylists who are also have that entrepreneurial edge, that understand that what they do affects others around them, and understand that collective effort, that they give helps strengthen the brand. So when it comes to things like, look, we do a lot of things that drive traffic to the stylist, right? We work very heavily with things like search engine optimization. We make sure we are, you're going to find us when you Google hair salons in Frisco, Texas. We want to be found. We want to be able to drive traffic to our customers who are the stylists, right? It's a good business move for them. It's great for us. It makes everyone happy and everyone successful. But of course, doing that, you're going to get new clients. And anytime you're working with new clients, look, you could have a customer or client that's just not happy with the service they received. So, those we take on a case-by-case basis. We try to really engage with those clients at that time. But in all honesty, in the, 3, almost 4 years, I can probably count them on one hand how many times we've actually had a customer situation or unhappy customer, and we've always been able to work it out. And, and I think it's because of the vetting process, and it's because of, the stylists that we attract, that they're amazing professionals, and they will go in. And for the most part, when you have an unhappy client, a stylist is always going to want to go in and try to fix something if it wasn't done right, or if they just missed the mark or something like that.
Right.
And so usually that works itself out. And if you hire the right people, I shouldn't even say hire, if you attract the right people and you attract the right stylists, they're going to be, amazing professionals, and you're not going to have to deal with, poor work or anything like that.
So if Stephen goes online to modernluxesalon.com and says he wants to, what?
With an E.
With an E or whatnot, and he wants to fix his hair, how do you decide which stylist he ends up with?
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough for you, Stephen. I don't know if I have anybody.
Nobody can fix that?
That's really going to be hard. No, actually,
Smooth the gray, make it look a little thicker. I'll be good, man.
Nah, Steven's got an amazing head of hair. I'm so jealous sitting here. I'm trying to hold on to what I got. But no, I mean, look, there's a few different ways. One of the ways is online booking. So one of the things that really kind of sets us apart from our competitors is that we allow online booking. So each stylist on our website has their own page. They have their own bio. They have their own price list. And I would say 90% of them use an online booking tool so that people can find the website, can go directly to it, browse through the stylist that they like, and then book right there online. So,
and from what I understand, the online booking, I mean, is a capability that you adopted after getting some feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of our first. So we had a pretty good run when we first opened. Of once the word got out and stylists started, contacting us and inquiring about chairs. We had a pretty good run where most of the people we talked to signed on to start, and we were feeling pretty good. Okay, the concept's working. Great. Okay, now we can maybe sleep a little easier, not so much stress. But we had a couple stylists come through, and they had kind of done something we hadn't seen before. They called up, and they tried to book an appointment, and they tried to kind of go through the process that someone would normally go through at a traditional salon. And our goal is to always make it as seamless as possible for clients. They don't need to know how necessarily our back-end business model works. They just know that they need their hair done, right? And so we want to make it as seamless as possible for that. And so they went through the process, and it was fine. I mean, we were able to do it and get them booked. But one of the things that they gave us feedback was, well, you didn't offer any online booking, and this was kind of a new concept at the time. And we said, okay, well, we know our process and we know what we're doing. And it kind of was tough to take at first, right? It's that kind of criticism where you're like, well, what do you know, kind of a situation, and yeah,
you're
and
just
it kind
a stylist.
Yeah, it kind of stung.
The emotion that
it kind of stung, right?
Yeah.
So after some good conversations, some choice words, I mean, not with the stylist, but, kind of internally kind of going like, well, that was kind of painful to take. We vetted it, and we actually looked at it and we went, actually, you know what? She was right. She was absolutely 100% right. Now, she's still not with our company.
I was just going to ask,
enough.
did she come with you or not?
No, and what's funny is she's actually come around a couple times, but she kind of keeps missing like when we have open availability. So, again, one of the great things is that we're at full capacity, and we've been for a long time, and she's actually tried to come back around. Okay. And just we've never kind of had the timing worked out. But
she gets a commission on the idea, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will give her no credit whatsoever. No, absolutely. I mean, and it was kind of funny because she actually mentioned it, future was like, oh, I noticed you guys have online booking. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
that was
every time she comes around, though, that you don't have room, does she give you another innovation?
I should probably ask for one,
Give us another one.
No, you know what her innovation would be?
Space.
Can you open up another place so I can, so... so it was kind of one of those things where once we vetted it, we realized, wow, this is something that is actually incredibly powerful for the stylist if they embrace this technology. And it really allowed them to engage in more of a mechanical process of managing their business where, the tool sends reminders for appointments and it helps, fill out their schedule. And it even does things like it helps with marketing. So it retains email lists so they can send emails to their clients. So it does this. It really unlocks
the whole management system.
It unlocked this management system. And we went, wow, what an unbelievable
thing. What about billing?
Thing.
Charging.
So that it's separate from that. Now, there are some schedulers I think combine that, but typically most of them now with mobile phones, things like Square or PayPal or mobile devices, they can take payment right on their Cool. So essentially with their mobile device, whether it's their iPad or iPhone, that is literally their go-to. So they can, at the end of the service, they can pull up their schedule and they go, okay, well, you want to come back and see me in 8 weeks, right? Okay, great. I'm going to fit you. Tuesdays work for you? Fantastic. I'm going to put you in right here. They book the person right there. Oh, here, I can take your credit card payment. So they're all done right there on their mobile device, completely managed for them. And it's been amazing. And it also helps with the mechanical process, right? So we talk about, SEO and customers, finding the website and being able to just go on there and book it without ever having to make a call, they can go at 2:00 in the morning because they realize they need their hair done and book it for the next day or the day out. And these stylists, their books began to fill up just from that, so it was an amazing piece of criticism that worked out incredibly well.
So I know you're doing the pure platinum.
Yep.
So tell us about that and how'd you end up there?
Yeah, so that was a few years back. There was a product line that my wife was working with, and she really liked the product line. It was innovative, and so not to go too deep into hair extensions, but there's several attachment methods, right? So, and Stephen, if you want hair extensions, we can
bring it.
We can put you up a pretty sweet mullet, no doubt.
I would love a nice mullet. Mine always curls, So
yeah, no, we can keep it straight, and it'll be a full Tennessee neck sweater, So, so there's several different attachment methods. There's tape. There's fusion, where they bond the glue together. There's sew in. We can go down the rabbit hole, but essentially this method was nanotechnology, which was the smallest on the market from an attachment method, the least detectable, very comfortable for people to wear. And it's kind of one of these new emerging markets where extensions were always kind of relegated to kind of a fringe. Not a lot of people did them. It was kind of like this thing no one really talked about, and it was very much on the small scale. But over the past 10 years, it's really began to come back as or break through as an emerging trend, and it's a multi-billion-dollar market. And you see a lot of things like, celebrities, Beyonce. Guess what? Beyonce wears extensions. If you didn't know that, people, she wears extensions. Sorry. Very good
here
ones.
first.
Yeah. But anyways, so my wife was using a particular brand, and this brand was not available in the United States. She was having to order online. So our initial forte into the market was we began to distribute for that company. Over the course of the past year, we actually have spun off. So we actually spun off and actually launched our own brand based on the same type of concept. So that happened over the last year, and it's been phenomenal.
So
and,
you're sourcing your own product, distributing it under your own name and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Wow.
about a year ago, we actually decided to split off, began sourcing everything ourselves, working with manufacturers from all over, set up an e-commerce site, did all that, and so now we're fully independent. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a big learning adventure going down that path. Again, it's just one of those take a risk and go for it.
Where do you source from?
All over the world.
Really?
At least you know your customers too, which is very powerful.
Yeah.
So if we were to look ahead 3 years in the future, look back to today, what would you like to see happen for you to be excited about your progress? Besides Bob finding you a really cheap location to expand.
Third location.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, growth is always something that's on our mind. It's kind of one of those things that we look at as, there's growth for the sake of growth, but there's also growth for the sake of cause. And, to kind of take it back to Tara, it was such an amazing experience that she went through when she was able to go independent that we're just excited to share that with other people, to say, this is a possibility. You can live this kind of life. You can have a career. You can have control of your time. You can decide when and how you want to do what you do. That's awesome. And that's incredibly valuable. I mean, there's the money aspect of it, which is great, but more than anything else, it's that control of time. And we love being able to share that with people and show them that it's not as hard if you have a system and you let us help you.
Well, thanks so much for being our guest today. Really enjoyed that. If you'd like to learn more about Aaron's businesses, modernluxesalon.com or pureplatinumusa.com. And if you'd like to know more about the show, go to nextlevelshow.com and
Facebook, different social medias. Help spread the word. If you know someone that's stuck in and needs to check out entrepreneurship in this type of way, help spread the word.
See you next week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.